Okay, so good morning, class. Good morning. How are you today? Okay, great. So, before we start our class, as first introduce myself, I am Giovanni Risma and I am your teacher for today. Welcome back to oral communication subject. So, today we're going to tackle about the types of speech. Okay, class. What is speech, by the way? Okay, very good. So, in definition, speech is the expression of or the ability to express thoughts and feelings by articulate sounds. It is a formal address or discourse. In speech also, it is the process to address and interact with audience to deliver some message and to convince the audience toward some particular agenda. So, we have four types of speech class. We have the extemporaneous speech or the delivery extemporaneous. So, first we have the extemporaneous speech, we have the manuscript speech, we have the memorized speech rather, and we have the impromptu speech. So, let's discuss about the extemporaneous speech. So, the types of speech according to delivery extemporaneous. So when we say extemporaneous speech, it is the speaking process of delivering a speech in a conversational fashion using notes. So in extemporaneous speech, we have the speaking with limited preparation, we have the guided by notes or outline, we have the delivered conversationally. So you need to follow the extemporaneous, the steps of the extemporaneous in order for you to deliver well. So we have lastly you have the most popular type of extemporaneous speech. So in speaking situations of extemporaneous speech, when you are a candidate for a post in a student government and you deliver your campaign speech before a voting public. So another one, when you are assigned to report a topic in a class. Okay, so example of extemporaneous speech is that in extemporaneous acting, when an actor practices drill labs only once before a performance, practices drill labs only before a performance prepared in advance. Okay, prepared, remember class, prepared in advance but delivered without notes or text. Okay, remember in extemporaneous speech, the advantage of that is you are prepared in advance but delivered without notes or text. That is an extemporaneous speech. So the advantages of extemporaneous speech, first we have helps you look confident. Then the second one, the engage the audience. Then the and also this and also in extemporaneous speech, these are the disadvantages. So the disadvantages of extemporaneous speech, we have first we have the may not have adequate time to plan or to organize and rehearse. So these are the outline, or these are the tips of you're going to have the extemporaneous speech. First, we have the create an outline, organize your points logically, or most important to less important, or shall we say, use real life experience as your example. So manage your time well, then rehearse. So that is the extemporaneous speech. So did you understood class about the extemporaneous speech? Again, when we say extemporaneous speech, you are going to prepare in advance but delivered without notes or text. That is an extemporaneous speech. So let's move on. Let's talk about the second types of speech. So we have impromptu. So When we say impromptu, it is the speaking without advanced preparation. Okay? So it is the unrehearsed speech, then spoken conversationally. So in impromptu speech, it is the speaking is a speech that a person delivers without excuse me without determination or preparation. So impromptu, shall we say, it's on the spot. Oh. In speaking situations, in an event where you are asked to say a few words, then firstly at work or in a class during an interview. So another example of the impromptu is the interviews of politicians, the as presidential debates, or even the panel discussion of TV channels are all examples of impromptu speaking. Okay, so these are the advantages of the impromptu speeches. So first, we have the spontaneous or natural speaking. We have the more focus and brief. Okay, you need to focus and brief if you're going to yeah, very good if you're going to have the impromptu speech. So these are the disadvantages of impromptu speech. So first, we have the tendency to be disorganized. Okay, to the tendency to be disorganized. That time then when you're going to have the impromptu speech, you are not really disorganized. Then we have the lack connections with the audience. So careful students, if you're going to have this impromptu, you need to have the full connections with the audience, because it is very important for us that we have the interactions between the teachers or the students and the teachers or the audience. So the disadvantage of that is never nerve-wracking for inexperienced speakers and beginners. So most especially if you are the first timer, if you are going to have this impromptu speech, if you are the first timer, one ka, you are not already prepared. Oo. So did you understand about the word impromptu speech, class? Okay, very good. So now let's discuss the three types of speech. But before we go beyond, there are the tips of impromptu speech. So there are the tips of impromptu speech. First, you're going to request it to say something or pause for a moment to plan in your head what to say. Then state your main point briefly and deliver it at a pace your audience can follow. So after the impromptu speech, you're gonna say by saying thank you. Ah, okay, very good. Did you understand? Okay. So the third one of the types of speech, we have the manuscript speech. So when we say manuscript, so in your own idea, so what is manuscript speech? Yes, Jeffrey. Okay, very good. So in manuscript speech, the speaker is a word for a word interaction of a written message. In a manuscript speech, the speaker maintains his or her attention on the printed page except when using visual aids. So you have a guide. Okay? So example, her last poems were left in manuscript. So that is the example of manuscript speech. So in manuscript speech, in addition, we have the speaking with advanced preparation. Yeah, true. Another one is bland and rehearsed speech. The third one is reading aloud a written message. And manuscript also, in manuscript speeches, we have the speaking situations. First, we have the newscasting with a teleprompter or an article. Yeah, Then the second one is what the presenting the legal proceedings and verdict. Then the reading the roles and criteria in a contest. So the advantages of the manuscript speech is we have the exact repetition of the written words, diba? Then guided speech. And the disadvantages of the manuscript speech is you are boring and interesting presentations. If you're going to have, if you have in front of many people, so you need to have a sacks of knowledge because it is very important for us in order for your students to learn more and to be actively participate during your discussions, during your demonstrations. And that is one the example, the disadvantages of the manuscript speech is the boring and interesting presentation. It doesn't mean that you are boring during your presentation. The students not so actively participated. You have the lack audience rapport or connections. So it might be that it is very important that the teacher and the students having interactions. So these are the tips of the manuscript speech. We have to rehearse the speech over and over again until you sound natural. So you have to rehearse speeches over and over again. We have the observe, accomplish news anchors and note how to conversational the sound when they deliver the news. Okay. So lastly, we have the memorized types, the memorized speech. So these are the last types of speech we have the memorized. So when we say memorized speech, what does it mean? Yes, jewelry. Okay, very good. So when we say memorized speeches, it is the speaking consists of reciting a scripted speech from memory. So you are going to memorize without bringing a guide, without memorize. Yeah, you are already memorized what you have discussed or what you have memorized. So in memorized speech, we have the speaking with advanced preparation. We have the planned and rehearsed speech. Then, especially during our class time, if the teacher called you that, okay, Mr. Narisma, okay, can you memorize or can you discuss about or say something like that? So that is you are going to memorize already. So reciting a written message word for word from memory. So in speaking situations of memorized speech, we have the when you perform in a stage play. Okay, very good. Say when you deliver a declamation or article or literary piece. So have you ever seen class during your junior high school? During your junior high school, so there was a declamation, the article or literary piece. So that was the example of memorized speech. Okay. So when an actor or actress in essence perform a script from memory. So another example class, the movies or the characters they are going to memorize their rules, their scripts without bringing a script because they are already memorized about their scripts. That is the memorized speech. Did you understand class? Okay, very good. So these are the advantages of the memorized speech. First, we have the exact repetition of the written words from memory. The second one is free to move around the stage. Oh, you are going to move around from the stage because in order for you to fade the stress, to fade the emotions, you're nervous. So the types of that is you're going to free to move around the stage. So that is the advantages of the memorized speech. And also these are the disadvantages of memorized speech. We have the speakers might end up speaking in a monotone pattern. So alternately, he or she might take a fast pace. So another one, when the speaker cannot control his or her stage fright, he or she might have difficulty remembering his her memorized speech. So, class, remember, if you are not going to memorize well during your reporting or during the way you hear in front of many people, in front of us, so you need to memorize your script. You need to memorize the what you have tasked to your teachers, because if you're not going to memorize your script, therefore you're going to lacking memorize, shall we say, that you're you feel nervous, or shall we say you're just beating like oh my god, and so on. I don't understand, I don't know what's the happen next, what's on so far. So careful class, that you need to memorize your script, because that is a very important. Okay, did you understand? So, in memorized speech class, there are the tips of memorized speech. So first, we have the rehearse the speech over and over again until you sound natural and feel confident. So, it's tips dapat the way you memorize, you are already confident, because without confident, you are nothing. So, it is very important to have a confident, okay? Did you understand class? Okay, second one is observe how actors or actresses performs their script in the theater, television, or movie scenes. So just what you have seen in the dramas, the movies, or your TV. So the characters or the actors of there is, they are already memorized about their scripts, right? So that is the example of memorized speech. So did you understand class? So since we already knew about the types of speech, so may I call on everyone? May I call on Mr. Wilson? Okay, please stand up. So, what is a impromptu speech? Okay, very good. Thank you so much. You are already understand about impromptu speech. Okay, again, when we say impromptu speech, the speaker is when we say impromptu speech, speaking is speech that a person delivers what determination or preparation. So, again, when we say impromptu speech, you are going to on the spot. Ha. And we say extemporaneous speech. Okay, may I call on Mr. Gisman? So, what is extemporaneous again? Okay, very good. You are preparing in advance but delivered without notes or text. That is an extemporaneous speech. Okay. So how about the memorized speech? Yes, Marianne. Okay, very good. You're going to memorize the speaking consists of reciting a scripted speech from memory. And the last one, we have the manuscript speech. It is very suitable for us to learn about the types of speech, the manuscript speech. Okay, again class, there are 4 types of speech. We have the manuscript speech, we have the memorized speech, we have the extemporaneous speech, and lastly we have the impromptu speech. Since you already understood about the 4 types of speech, so now let's move on. Let's discuss about the types of speech according to purpose. So, actually class, we have the 3 types of speech according to purpose. We have the informative speech, we have the persuasive speech, and the last one, we have the entertainment speech. So let's discuss about the informative speech. Okay, who can give me any idea about informative speech? Okay, thank you so much for that wonderful answer. Okay, based on the definition, formative speech, it is the provides the audience with a clear understanding of the concept or the idea presented by the speaker. Okay. In addition, informative speech is one that intends to educate the audience on a particular types or the topics covered in a informative speech. should help the audience to understand and a subject matter and to remember what they learned later. The goal of this type of speech is not way to the audience, to the speaker point of view. So can you just give me example of informative speech? Okay, very good. Thank you. Thank you, John. So another example of informative speech is that college professor lecturing on a specific topic during a class. Oh, that is the informative speech. So did you understand about the informative speech? Okay, very good. So now, the second one we have the persuasive speech. So when we say persuasive speech, it provides the audience with well-argued ideas that can influence their own beliefs and decisions. And another, who can give me any idea about persuasive speech? Yes, Pablo. Okay, very good. So, persuasive speech is one of the three most daily used speeches. Persuasive speech is used when presenters decide to convince their presentation or ideas to their listeners, or their goal is to convince or persuade people to believe in a certain point of view. Can you just give me example of persuasive? Diba? Based on the statement, persuasive speech is used when presenters decide to convince their presentation or ideas to their listeners. So, who can give me any idea about the persuasive speech? Example, the sales clerk, diba? The advertisement, the sales lady, the voice clerk, or their products, because they are going you to convince in order for you to buy or say something, to buy their products, to yes, kunin ko na yan dapat. So they are trying their best to convince you about their products or their presentation. Mapapaniwala mo sila. So they are convincing you na, oh, this is very nice, this is very beautiful, so you need to, or this is very effective from your health to your health, from your body. So they are going to encourage you in order for you to buy that products or something. So that is the persuasive speech. So the last part of that three types of deliberate Extemporaneous, we have the entertainment speech. So what is entertainment speech? Okay, entertainment speech, it provides entertainment speech, it provides the audience with amusement. So entertainment speech has one purpose, to amuse and entertain the audience. It's not intended to share information or to persuade, or it's enjoying. So who can give me any idea about entertainment speech? Okay, example, Vice Ganda. Okay, Vice Ganda is one of the entertainment speech. So what Vice Ganda's rules during their movies, during their marathon, or during your cinemas, the movies of the role of Vice Ganda. Vice Ganda makes us to become happy. They can make you laugh, they can make you cry, or they can make you sometimes you're gonna say hurt, or sila yung those are the heroes that makes you happy, that makes you laugh, that makes you cry. So again, there are three types of the types of speech according to the Extemporaneous. We have the informative speech, we have the persuasive speech, and we have the entertainment speech. So okay class, are you ready for the learning activity? Okay, very good. In a learning activity, there are the types, the definition, and example.